Hey everybody, Justin here with Everything Aquarium, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a species spotlight, which is the red and blue Colombian Tetra, or Colombian Tetra for short, as some people may call it. I'm going to tell you everything today that you need to know about this fish, how to care for it, and if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to let you in on a couple secrets that I have learned over my time of keeping these fish, which is quite some years. So stick around to the end of the video to find out a couple secrets that I have up my sleeve when it comes to taking care of these guys and getting the absolute most beauty out of them as you can. Well, they are currently in a 60-gallon breeder tank, which is a shorter 75-gallon tank. And they are in a South American aquascape setup, South American biotope style tank. So these guys are a Tetra. They are blue-bodied with red fins. Right now, they're not completely colored up, just to the fact that they're a little bit stressed out. This is past their schedule, plus I'm sticking the camera in their face, so you'll have to accommodate for that. They generally do have really nice dark blood red fins with a nice blue body, which you can see a little bit of that here now. But again, they're a little bit stressed out. This is a newer school to this tank. So the first thing I want to mention about them is they are a larger Tetra. They can grow to be 2.5 to 3 inches, possibly 4 inches from what I've heard. I've only had them at maybe 2.5, 2 3/4 inches ever. This school here is anywhere from an inch to about 2.5 inches. There's a larger one going through there now, and then you can see most of the other ones are small. So one of my favorite things about this fish is the fact that you can house these with other South American, Central American cichlids, large, medium, and small. For the most part, they don't bother anybody outside of their species, and if they do, most of the time it'll be a smaller fish or possibly a weak link that is outside of the school, so to speak. Another Tetra, one that possibly has disease or illness, they will pick on that possibly. So that is something to look out for, but most part they are pretty docile, they're pretty calm, and they work really well, again, with those larger style cichlids or larger size cichlids, such as a Nicaraguan cichlid that I have back here. He's minding his own business right now, as well as a true parrot cichlid, which is under the rock. So moving on to their required water parameters. These are again from South America, so they'd like to have a acidic or close to neutral, so anywhere between 7 to 6 pH is ideal for them. And ideally, you really want to have them about 6.5 or 6. Now, they also like a soft water with as low hardness as you could possibly get. I've noticed over time that they really rather have that than anything. But I will mention that my water I add into my tank and the water that comes out of my tap is extremely hard, and it comes out at about 8.0 pH. So it's a little bit more alkaline. So what I'm getting to is, as long as you keep your water parameters stable, they rather have that than you try to constantly chase the perfect parameter. And what I mean by that is constantly adjusting your pH up and down, constantly getting your hardness lower or it bouncing back and forth. They rather have it a stable parameter than constantly going back and forth. And as you can see, they are in a hard water, extremely hard. This is like 15 degrees of hardness, maybe even 20 right now. And the water's about neutral to alkaline, 8.0, somewhere around there. They're doing very well just because, again, the water parameters are stable. They are not extremely sensitive to the ammonia, nitrate, nitrates. Of course, ammonia can be toxic to any fish, but these guys are pretty hardy, so to speak. So again, you don't want to really push that, but as long as you're acting upon those ammonias and nitrates and nitrites relatively quickly, they should be fine. So temperature wise, these fish do well anywhere from 76 to about 82 degrees. I keep mine right in that 78 to 80 degrees, just because I have plants, and that's what I've always kind of kept my takes at in my room here. And they seem to do fairly well with that. Again, they're pretty hardy to a wide variety of water temperatures and parameters. Again, you don't want to push the envelope too hard with it, but a stable parameter is always better. They do just fine with plants. They will pick at them every now and then, but for the most part, they won't bother them. They won't uproot anything or chew on anything. and destroy it like a lot of my other cichlids will do. So when it comes to plants, they do just fine. Now moving on to their diet, they are an omnivorous fish, which means they accept plant matter and protein in their food. In their diet, they require that. So what do I mean by that? So like possibly a spirulina enriched food, something that has a lot of plant matter in it, as well as something that has a lot of protein in it. So you want to have a variety of foods, a meaty flake possibly, and then again a spirulina flake. They also really enjoy live food, just like any other fish will. So live brine, mysis, frozen bloodworms even. And they'll accept just about any type of food you give them. Of course, as long as it's appropriately sized, you don't want to be giving these guys giant pellets, even though I have seen them accept quite large pellets, and they will just pretty much chew on them and shred it up, almost like a piranha, which they are very similar to. Brings me into my next category. Like I said earlier, they don't necessarily pick on anything, but they're in rare possibility they can turn amongst each other. So that's also going to bring us into our first tip. When introducing a school into a tank, it is always ideal to mix up the scape in order to break up any type of territorial issues that you may have with existing fish, such as a cichlid, or especially when introducing one school of Colombians to another school of Colombians. It's always ideal to kind of just mix up that scape to break that tension. That way nobody's dominant, nobody's territorial, and you'll have the most possible, most likely success. Now these guys are relatively easy to find online and local fish stores. They've ranged anywhere I've seen from about $3 all the way up to $7 or $8 online, plus shipping of course, which is extremely high. Now, depending on where you go, again, that's all gonna matter and be up to the fish store or your local area. And of course, size depends on price as well at 99% of the local fish stores. With the bigger chain stores, it doesn't matter as much, which we're gonna talk about here in a couple minutes. When I get to the end of the video, I'm gonna let you in on one of those tricks that I was telling you about. So stick around for that. But other than that, these guys are very hardy fish. They're not necessarily prone to any disease in specific. Again, they are a tetra, so they can contract ick. Obviously, that is the most likely disease that they can transmit and be prone to. Again, very treatable as long as you catch it, but again, they're pretty hardy fish, so they don't necessarily, again, have any type of disease that particularly targets them and causes them to die off. I just want to touch one more time on the compatibility with these fish. They're compatible with almost anything, but again, they are tetras. I wanted to mention this. So long fin fish can possibly be an issue because they can nip. Not that they do it regularly, but if it's prevented right to their face, then they're going to take the opportunity. Especially if you have a larger school, they can definitely attack some larger, like possible angelfish, especially slower moving fish, like angelfish or discus. You don't necessarily want to keep them with any type of larger fish that is slower moving, so to speak, or anything with long trailers or anything like that. Again, they'll probably be fine, but definitely something you'd want to keep an eye on. They are also extremely energetic, so you don't want to keep these with anything that like a calm, peaceful water column. They will definitely be darting all around constantly, as you can see here. They do not like to stop moving for very long. They do think I'm going to feed them, so they're going to be all quite very active right now. As you can see, I put my hand on top of the tank, and just like piranhas, they start to dart around, and they can definitely cause some stress among other fish if your fish aren't used to that, or if it's just a species that doesn't like that kind of commotion. Another thing just to think about. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I want you to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you don't mind, and let me know how you think I'm doing in the video, because I really like the feedback. So the last trick I'm going to let you guys in on is when it comes to getting these type of fish right now, I have found that local fish stores are quite pricey just because a lot of them are getting these fish from farms in Florida right now. And with the hurricanes that recently went through, a lot of those farms are down on workers and are down on fish, whatever, down on resources. So they're not sending these up as much, and when they do, they're a little bit more pricey. So the tip with that is you can actually go to 99% of the PetSmarts will have these in stock, and they usually get in about 12 at a time. I have been finding great success with them going there and picking up, 10 to 12 of these guys at a time for $3.50 a piece on sale, or $3.99 normally, which is quite a good price compared to what you can find at a local fish store. I am in Southeast Michigan, and on average, these guys are anywhere between $4 to $5 a piece. Now, again, that's not much difference, 50 cents to $1.50 difference, but for the quality versus the price, the PetSmart is really not bad at all. They generally are a little bit smaller, but again, that's also hit or miss because I've seen them quite a bit larger at the PetSmarts, depending on how long they're there. And the good thing about PetSmart is they don't up the price based on size. So if they come in at a larger size, they're still going to sell you them at that same price. Also, the quality of them, again, you can't really tell the difference if it's a local fish store or, that big chain kind of store like that. They don't necessarily have any type of quality issue. Again, they are possibly from fish farms, 99% likely that they are when it comes to that stuff. But again, the quality is usually pretty there because they're a pretty hardy fish. It's kind of hard to mess these guys up, to be honest with you. But the downside of that is it is a risk, of course, always, getting fish from a mass quantity of farms or where there's, hundreds of them at a time. They can bring in diseases. So I would definitely recommend you either quarantine them or make sure you're visibly checking them out before you put them with your other school of fish in order to make sure that you don't have any possible diseases or anything like that. But I definitely highly suggest quarantining them if possible. Really the only downfall with that, plus when you buy them at a PetSmart, they have a 14-day guarantee, which most reputable fish stores will have some type of warranty or guarantee. And then you can bring them back for any reason they don't make it. So anyways, guys, that's my last tip. That's my last trick. I hope this species profile can help some of you out. I really want to spread the word on these guys. They're not a highly known species in the hobby, but when they are in the tank, they are beautiful and they can add lots of color and lots of energy to the tank, as well as lots of compatibility. I've also noticed these fish will bring out some of the fish that may hide all the time. Like my parrot cichlid in there hides constantly. Now that I've added this larger school of fish, he seems to come out a little bit more, feeling a sense of security that other fish are out and about without any type of predators preying on them. So just another little tip before I let you guys go here. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate all the love and support so far. If you could, again, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know how you think I did in this video. Until that happens, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate it.